I was supposed to fight here against Khabib at the T-Mobile for UFC 209, but fat man Tiramisu couldn't make the weight. He just looked like he was having a hell of a cut, man. I looked in his eyes, I saw fear. Oh boy didn't want none, man. If he couldn't make the weight and he didn't have that mental toughness, there was no way he was gonna be able to survive 5 rounds with an animal like me, the future champ. That's why I respect the athletes that'll give me a certain kind of elite level of competition. These guys are elite athletes, but I'm something else. You'll never see another guy like me out there. I'm gonna stay grindy, I'm gonna stay hungry, I'm gonna keep going after the same thing, I'm gonna perfect my craft. Like I said, my approach is different. You don't have to talk shit to make it in this industry. You let your fists and you let everything else do the talking, man. But my one opponent I like to talk shit right now is Khabib. So there's that language barrier, but we're working on it. You want that piece of cake? Come here, come get lit. I'm trying to learn some Russian for him. Das vidanya. I was bartending out in Michigan and I decided, I was like, you know what? This isn't that fun anymore. I was like, I need to do something else. I was like 205 pounds. And I was like, I'm fat. I was eating just fucking subs, steaks, just drinking, having fun. And it just wasn't me anymore. So I was like, you know, I'm gonna go back to California where my family's at. Some dude gave me a card. He was at a bar and he was like, hey, you got some crazy ears. And I was like, yeah. Here's a jiu-jitsu card. And he was like, here, go check us out. And I looked at the card and I was like, yeah, sure, whatever, dude. Because I'm here to get a job bartending or bouncing or something. Had holes in my jeans, I had a cut-off t-shirt. Looked like I was fresh off the boat. Straight up. And I had my job at Coffee Bean and I was like, you know what? I had a couple bucks saved up and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go. Bought myself some shorts and some shirts. Went into the gym and the coach was like, fighter, huh? He's like, oh man, I'm just showing up. The guy had a chip on his shoulder immediately. I was like, fuck this guy. I was like, all right. He's like, you tough, huh? I was like, fuck, all right. He's like, hey, Soltero, come here. And Nick. He threw all of his pro fighters at me and I handled them all in wrestling. So all these guys that were all the way from like 135 to 260, handled them. The conditioning wasn't on point. And I stayed humble. Robert Garcia was one of my first boxing coaches. And he's the pride of boxing at the 805. And he hooked me up with a pair of ringside boxing gloves. He's like, you got power, man. He's like, what I want you to do, he's like, let's do some mitts. So he held some mitts for me, but it wasn't like the mitts. He had the power donut. So he was like, you got a lot of raw power. He's like, let's reinforce this. Literally from that point on, a lot of boxing trainers were like, you got hands. But literally, you know, I've been hitting speed bags since I was 15. So I always wanted to box, I always wanted to fight. And I just fell into it, dude. All these trainers were like, man, you got a lot of talent, kid. I didn't have money to pay them. So I would be like, you know what, that's cool. I would be thankful, be super humble with it. And anything they taught me, I would go work on it. I would be like, fuck, like how many hours I spent in the gym, dude? Like fucking countless. 24, I was a young prospect, and maybe like a month or two into it, the guy threw me in the cage, and they had the commission come in to test me. They were like, well, you want to go pro, right? Because I had my first AMI and I ended in like 22 seconds. We weighed in, I was like 180, the guy was like 210. So like, those are like, you know, the barn burners. And we go in there and I handled it, and he was like, all right, I brought this dude all tatted up, 200 some odd pounds, and like fucking teardrops, like all crazy, and I was like, all right, bro, straight up, let's go. And I was like, you sure you want to use small gloves? I was like, you're kind of big. I was like, we can go big gloves. And so immediately, MMA is not boxing. So I ankle picked this son of a bitch, threw him on his back in literally like 2 seconds. And I stood over him like this, didn't hit him one time. I was like, you good? Commissioner's like, sign. Turned pro overnight. Since my first knockout, when I was like maybe 190 pounds. I was an amateur fighter, dude. I was working at Coffee Bean, lifting green coffee off of the semi trucks onto pallets. I was just like, had all these random odd jobs, but it was always like I was lifting. And a lot of the guys would show up drunk, and like from the night before, and I'm like, man, you stink. He's like, go sit down. And I would do it, and I would handle like 100 and some odd bags, throwing this, and I was getting beefy. And so my first fight, I broke the dude's face. I broke his temporal bone and his zygomatic bones. And since then, I was like, you know what? I gotta do something with this. I went back home. I told my parents, because they were the only ones that really mattered. I just got fresh out of college, won nationals in college, was bartending. I was like, you know what, all these other jobs, these side jobs are bullshit. Because I'm an athlete, I'm a professional athlete. Made that decision and man, took a big ass chance. You know, barely making rent, barely paying a phone bill, but that was the only thing. I would survive off of like $5 a day. But it was that hunger that got me to where I was at. It was that hunger that kept me on top of everything. Knocking out people, submitting them. I was 10-2 at 170 pounds and now I'm fighting at 155. I walk around T. Woodley and the dude looks at me like I'm a threat. I mean, these guys are elite athletes, but I'm something else. You'll never see another guy like me out there. I don't like to talk shit when I have to. Sometimes it's fun, but that's not my bag. I like to do my talking inside the ring. I'm not changing. I'm not gonna start talking. I'm gonna keep doing the same thing I'm doing. You just said it earlier. It's like, you haven't changed. Absolutely not. I'm gonna stay grindy. I'm gonna stay hungry. I'm gonna keep going after the same thing and perfect my craft. You know, after we get done here, where am I gonna go? I'm here to work, but what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go train. I'm gonna go train, right? Because you can't stop progress. I heard my sponsor on my shorts was my wife. It was XT. That's where the Tony Ferguson XT comes in. That's Christina and Tony. And that's where XTA, that's Christina, Tony, and Armand. So she's always been that sponsor for me, like, not through money, but always been that mental sponsor. She always encouraged me to like, hey, you can do this. And everybody else would hate. The only person that saw me in the gym was her. You know, family, they're gonna be there for you, but if they don't see you around, they're like, what are you doing? You're out partying, you're doing this. I'm winning fights. I'm selling tickets, I'm hustling. I'm out there doing my shit so I can get to this level. I tried out for the Ultimate Fighter 3 times, but I didn't make it 2 times. My lady could have left me. She could have went, nah, you're not cool, you're never gonna make it, like a lot of fighters, a lot of girls do. She stuck by my side. Yeah, she stuck by my side, and that's why I bought her my first house. So what I'm trying to say is, look, I bought my house for my wife and for my kid. And what I did was, I made it a point in my head to say, look, you're gonna build your academy at your spot, just like you were in the Ultimate Fighter. And the reason I did that was because I wanted to make sure that I was there for my first year for my son. Instead of taking time off, I wanted to keep the progress rolling. And I thought I wanted to truly test myself to be like, you know what, can you fight and actually be a father and a husband and be a representative of the sport all at once? Point proven. That's the kind of stuff that I want to pass down to my kid. You know, keep a good name for yourself, work hard, stay humble. You don't have to talk shit to make it in this industry. You let your fists and you let everything else do the talking, man. Honestly, I want him to play baseball. That's for me. But what I want to do when he gets old enough, I want to take him down an aisle and say, go pick a ball. Whatever he wants, because I'm going to support. Literally, that's how I want it to be. If he wants to fight, that's cool. I'll be here. He'll be the best damn fighter in the world. If he wants to wrestle, same thing. But if he wants to be an artist, fuck yeah, let's go. Just go to school, you make that grades, that's it. So you gotta go to college too. So that's my rules. Whenever I'm fighting my opponent, I like to beat them at their own game. I don't wanna just go out there and just knock people out. In my first couple fights, I thought it was dope. I started knocking people out left and right, started breaking people's faces. And I said, I got bored with it. I straight up got bored with it. I said, what's next? After I broke my arm, I was like, what's next? You need to learn either Muay Thai or you need to learn Jiu-Jitsu. So I went to the drawing boards, picked up Jiu-Jitsu. I found 10 Planet Jiu-Jitsu, Coach Eddie. I told him exactly what I wanted to do, and I showed up. And when you show up like that, you're gonna learn. That's the difference between myself and any other athlete. I'm a true athlete, true professional athlete. I stick my mind to something, I'm gonna do it. And how many Darce chokes or how many rear naked chokes did I finish in a row? You know, performance victories, all these other things, that shit don't matter. The one thing I want to do is perfect that craft in Jiu-Jitsu. After that, it was Muay Thai. Darce was taught to me over at Frangia Miller's, and he's a good instructor. It's my signature move. In reality, I'm long and limber, and it's easy for me to be able to translate that from wrestling. I've always been a front headlock kind of guy, snap down city, throwing him in that position. When the guy's hands are on the mat, it leaves their neck completely open. I mean, I really can't talk too much technique into it. It's easy for me to be able to like put somebody in a chokehold. When I was in Mexico City, the one thing that I haven't been was in deep waters in a long time. I went 3 rounds. 3 rounds is what? Nothing. It's shit. 15 minutes is nothing. I mean, what? 15, 16, 17, 18 minutes. Nah. In Mexico City, we're fighting at 7,500 feet, 5 rounds. Give me 30 minutes. That's a true test of character. So if I know I can do that out there, you think I can do that anywhere else in the world? Fuck yeah. That's why I respect the athletes that'll give me a certain kind of elite level of competition. relating to Conor. You know, he's gonna be fighting boxing Floyd Mayweather. For me, that's awesome, because his boxing's not as good as mine. Talking to my trainers from Boxing Burn, and talking to him from Wildcard, he's not on the same level. What I have to say is I can't say that he won't get better, because he will get better. Training with elite athletes like that, you're gonna get better. So when he does come back in here, I will have some kind of competition as far as stand-up. And I welcome that with open arms, man. Because if I do lose out of hand, that's somebody that's better than me, awesome. I'll give it all the credit, I'll tip my hat, and that's good. But if they have that elite level and I go in there and I smack him around and I demoralize my body shots, and he doesn't hit me, because boxing is the art of hit and don't get hit. And it is a style. And I like to perfect my style. And if you really go and watch my fights, a lot of these punches don't hit that hard. I roll with the punches and I counter fast. You know, luckily for us, we got kicks and stuff. So in boxing, you can't really throw elbows. It's kind of frowned upon. But it is a fight, it is a scrap, and MMA is not boxing. So if and when he does come back, I hope he doesn't forget that he has legs. I'm a threat to Conor. We have the same management. I can't say anything because we want to talk about facts, but the dude hasn't said my name not one time in any interview or any kind of competition. I'm a threat to the dude. Do I respect him? Yeah. I have to respect his art. Do I have to respect what he's done for the game? But it's not going to change how my plate is served. I have no problem with it, man. If Khabib is next and I have Conor that's in front of me, I have two places on my palette right there that's going to go with my UFC part. 2 gloves. I collect gloves after my fights. That's Khabib's ass, and I got Conor. Those 2 are still left. You want to go to Russia and you want to fight somebody, that's fine. But you're going to have your hands full. So if you want to go out there and you want to beat him, you're going to have to come back and face numero uno.
How do you think that fight with Mayweather will go?
Puncher's chance. Straight up. I mean, he's an athlete. So I say, as a true athlete, and at that elite level, you're going to learn it. You're going to become better. You're going to surround yourself around people doing the same thing, and if you can visualize it, you can do it. Visualization is key. I've always said that. Precision, everything. I mean, really, if you learn the sport, and you learn the game, and you know what's up, I mean, it'd be funny as hell to see him throw an elbow or a knee, but I mean, he's going to have to learn the whole entire art. And, you know, props to him for doing it. I'm a true fan of the sport. I love the whole aspect of like a walkout. I like to see if the athlete's there mentally. And the one thing Pat Barry told me was funny, I was at Death Clutch training with Brock, and we're all there and we got done with practice and we're sitting at the restaurant. And he's like, you know what I hate, man? He's like, you got guys trying to pump themselves up. He's like, you know what, Ferg? He's like, don't you ever start clapping for yourself when you're inside that octagon. He's like, those guys usually lose. And since then, I started thinking about it, and I would watch. Man, that dude's trying to pump himself up. Boom, knocked out. Boom, submitted. Boom, gone. I'm like, man, and you can just tell. I like being able to tell if the athlete's there. And then if they are, see them battle adversity. Go toe to toe. The perfect clean knockout, the finish, the flawless victory is amazing. But I want to see that toe to toe and somebody actually like battle adversity and overcome it and be like, you know what? Shit, that was awesome. That's the best fights. I was supposed to fight here against Khabib at the T-Mobile for UFC 209, but fat man Team Tiramisu couldn't make the weight. This looked like he was having a hell of a cut, man. I looked in his eyes, I saw fear. I saw him like so dehydrated. I saw how his mannerisms were when he was walking up, and oh boy didn't want none, man. If he couldn't make the weight and he didn't have that mental toughness, there was no way he was gonna be able to survive 5 rounds with an animal like me, the future champ. This dude just, I think he didn't have it mentally. You really have to center yourself around people doing the same thing that you're doing. And if you're out there eating French fries, tiramisu Tuesdays, and really cutting weight with a sauna suit, you're not in it for the right reasons. I mean, we're professionals. There's other ways and means to lose this weight. I just don't think they're on that level of weight cutting as I am. And 20 years in this, I got a double doctorate in it. My one opponent I like to talk shit right now is Khabib. So there's that language barrier, but we're working on it. I'm trying to learn some Russian for him. Das vidanya. He gets it, I get him. You know, I know what he's saying, he knows what I'm saying. It's a fight. You know what I mean? I'm not like, hey man, you're cool. No, you're cool. No, fuck you, dude. You want what I want. He's like, you're gonna get it. You know what I mean? You want that piece of cake? Come here, come get lit. It's my unorthodox approach. It's something I've been doing and escalating since I started, since the times at Knuckleheads, since I've transferred over to Rain Training Center, since I've been to Wildcard, and now I'm over at Black House MMA. I mean, the photos I'm putting out there, I'm coming up with these new interesting moves. Why? Because that's me, that's my style. So if anybody else wants to follow it, that's great. But for me, I'm a pioneer, and I like to come up with new things. Now is the time where now I'm gonna start going out and sparring. I told you earlier, how many times have I sparred in the last 5 camps? Literally less than 5 times. So now's the opportunity to go out there and show everybody what I can do.